Here we go. We live. Are we good, Morris? Can you hear? Hopefully you can hear. Today gonna be a short video, but just want to put this info out there for the Moors. Are we upright, independent, and fearless, or are we weak, mouse-like victims? Which one is it, Moors? Peace. We'll be right back.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soar through the shores and endure criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried gin. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with the high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right, peace, Morris. Here we go. All right. All right. Peace. Here we are, Moors. So I'm asking the question, are we victims? Are we upright, independent, and fearless? Are we able to accomplish anything? Or are we victims? Victims of what? Victims of circumstance. Victims of so many situations. So many terrible things have been done in the past. I'm not discounting that. I'm not acting like that's not true. I'm just saying, what are we, Moors? We have to make a decision. At some point in time, like, we have to make the decision on who we are, where we stand, and if we don't do so, someone else will continue to control the narrative, Moors. So who are we? I want to share something. I'm feeling the spirit. I was on Facebook, which a lot of us are, and I just put up a post. Let me share this screen with you, Moors. Now, all right, hopefully y'all can see this now. Can you see that, Facebook? We got that up. So yeah, there's a post on here. Just put a post in this Moorish group, Moors who stand for unity. Make sure you go on Facebook and join that group. That's not my group, so anybody just go on there. But also make sure you're in the Moors in America group. The Moors. While we're on here, let me just go ahead and pull that up. Since we're right here, Moors in America, the Facebook page. Make sure that you like or follow this page, Moors in America. See that 52,000 followers. We need to get those numbers up, Moors. Make sure you are on that page, and then you can go up at the top, click the little arrow to go to groups, and go to Moors in America, the group. See that? Make sure you join that private group, and you can post in here. You can ask questions, and this group is growing. We will have guides in here in the future, in the very near future, more media and files too as well. So make sure you get in that group, Moors in America, and like the Moors in America page. Now, going back here, I put up a post yesterday just saying we have smart and sincere Moorish men and women amongst our fold, Moorish Americans. What is it going to take for us to start a Moorish credit union, start our own bank, our own banking system, right? Because in this day and time, there's Moorish Americans all over the nation, actually overseas, all over the place. But just talking about right here in the United States of America, in every state, you have Moorish Americans, right? We're all over the place. What are our numbers, right? I can't even tell you. But unofficially, there's a lot of us. And we're spread out all over the place. We're in all the cities, even in small towns, even in rural areas. So we're urban cities, we're in rural areas. We're all over the place. Small, large, everything. There's no reason for us not to have our own towns. There's no reason for us not to have our own grocery stores, our own Moorish grocery stores, Moorish towns, Moorish farms, growing our food and doing the things that we need. Our Moorish hospitals, Moorish schools, right? So what's stopping us? People, I say it's the mentality of our own people. That's it. It's our own mentality that's stopping us from achieving greatness. There's really no other reason why. When you think about it, there's nothing that can stop us. There really is nothing that can stop us except for ourselves. So I want to share this with you, Moors, and let me see. Before these posts wind up getting deleted, let me share these with you. So, so the post on here, just asking, what's it going to take for us to start a Moorish credit union, right? And on this post, I let it be known, hey, I just want to put that idea out there. I don't know everything, right? But surely we have Moors with experience in the financial sectors to assist in starting a venture like this, right? In 2024, you have Asiatics in every state that identifies Moorish American and is growing. The numbers are growing. So we have the numbers to support financial institution. We have the numbers to support our own businesses and everything. And we can have a legitimate business, right? It wouldn't be something that would be handicapped or limited to being just with one grand body, one administration of Moors, right? And I'm not a banker. I don't know everything that needs to be done to make that happen, but I would support it. And it's something that we can get going and we can do it now, right? We sell fezzes too. For anyone that wants to get a fez, just go to MoorishFez.com. Couldn't care less what grand body, what group of Moors you're with, or if you're even with a group of Moors. And the banking should be the exact same. Anybody just trying to stifle growth, anyone coming with that sideways played out convo, talking about that lame convo, you with these more, who's your leader and all this stuff, they stagnant. And they're going to remain that way because they have a tiny perception of the world. It's like you're not in a position of power and you don't have any resources to even offer to the people. So you can't try to act like your group is better than anyone else's. But make sure you go hit to moorishfez.com to get your fez. Right now we have 3 sizes. We have an extra large size, 8.5, perfect for the brothers with locks. Make sure you go there, order your fez. We're shipping them out all the time. Look at the reviews. These are real people. We're not, making these reviews ourselves. These are from real people that actually bought the product, right? Excellent quality fez, very fast to deliver, perfect fit. Love my fez, right? Great feedback. Real people. Make sure you go and order your fez now. See, somebody gave it 4 stars. Everybody else 5 stars. We're not making people do this, right? People are giving reviews. Real people ordering their fez. It comes with the tassel. This is what it looks like, but it has the tassel on it. So don't worry about that. These are actual pictures of the real fezzes that you will get when you order from moorishfez.com. So Moors are productive, are doing something, right? We're not just waiting on somebody to come and save us, okay? Because we know that's not really realistic. So just coming back here, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because there's a victim mentality within the community and it needs to stop. It's sad, right? There was a brother, and this isn't about the brother who made the post, but I do want to read these because it speaks to a mindset that I want to address. So on here it says most people will not have the disposable funds to cover the startup costs of a credit union on their own. To start a credit union, it is recommended that you have at least 100,000 per 1 million in projected growth over the last 5 years. If you're projecting that your credit union will earn 6 million in revenue after 5 years, you should have at a minimum 600,000 for startup costs, right? 600,000 at minimum for startup costs. And it gives a link for starting a credit union. Excuse me, also another link saying the color of money, black banks, and the racial wealth gap, right? Sure, these are good books to check out, to read, or good research and information, right? Now, the response then, like, why aren't we doing it? This is all it takes, right? We may be coming into this now and trying to build, but there are Moors who were here 20 years ago who knew that they were Moors. Why ain't they do this, right? So they didn't do it. It's okay. We're going to do this now. So the reply, I just want to show you these responses because I want you to see the mindset and understand what needs to change. The change always needs to occur in the mind first. Always, right? You have to change your mentality. You have to be ready to achieve and to attain whatever it is that your goals and desires are, right? Or even if you don't even have any goals and desires, you have to be able to see the end result. And if you don't have the end result in your own mind, then you're going to wind up working for someone else's dream. You're going to wind up bringing into fruition what somebody else wants for you, wants for your community, your family, and all that. So just going back to that, saying, just reading from this website, he's saying that, they're giving advice that you should have at least $600,000 just to cover startup costs to start a credit union, right? A banking system. And so I was saying, well, if there's 200,000 more, it's just 200,000. And it's probably way more than that. I mean, come on. Just in the Moors in America, there's over 150,000 people on the Moors in America platform that are subscribers that follow the pages, right? So there's got to be more than 200,000 of us, right? So if there's 200,000 Moors that would like to be members of their own legitimate credit union, they could all contribute at least $3 a piece. And we will have the recommended 600,000 for startup costs. And I'm saying, like, the leadership is piss poor. We should have been started this. At least have our own bank, right? So we because when you're in a credit union, you're a member of that credit union. You're like a shareholder in there instead of versus just having like a regular bank account. So if we start our own credit union, right, we all have a small portion of ownership in it. And now we can start putting our finances in there, having bank accounts or savings accounts, right? And now the bank's able to do things, invest, do other things to generate finances, right? We can finance ourselves. We don't have to go to other banks. Eventually we can do that. So, I don't like these excuses, man. I hate excuses. They're weak. They're pitiful. The brother said, that's far beyond the issue, brother. I just had a solution for the issue. 600,000. That's not a big deal. We have the numbers, just $3 a piece. Now, would you be willing to invest $3? There's 200,000 of us, knowing that money is going towards the startup cost to build this credit union, right? We need to hire people that are qualified, that are legit, that are going to actually run this thing and know what they're doing. We need to, if we have to have physical buildings or whatever things that we need to do to establish this, okay, we're going to put $3 towards it. $3 ain't going to break you. It's not going to break me. And if, hopefully it's not going to break anybody that's watching this, right? $3, right? 200,000 of us. Hey, let's all do this. That's the sacrifice we're going to make. I might not see that $3 back because this is going towards just setting up the credit union. Okay? Like, come on, man. No excuses. So, that's what I'm saying. The brother saying that's far beyond the issue, right? You got a problem for every solution. And I was saying, I want you to see these responses, right? I know, but at the end of the day, there's really no excuse. The brother said, you're right. Just a history of economic exclusion and financial suppression. Once again, coming with the problems. We all know why we suffering. This ain't nothing new. You preaching to the choir. We all know why we're suffering. We all know about the Jim Crow era. We all know about all of these horrible, terrible things, not downplaying any of the stuff that was done. But do we want to cry about the past when we have the resources to do what we need to do right now to empower ourselves, and nobody can stop us? Nobody. But we want to look at, oh man, they did this to us. They put crack in the neighborhoods. They redline us. The banks, they discriminate us. There's so many horrible, heinous things that have been done. So we're going to harp on that because they did it. And now we seeing the repercussions of it, right? So we just going to kick in the bucket like it's over, right? So the brother said, now we can guess about it, or we can learn about it. When we know better, we can get it right. He shared that same book, Color of Money, Black Banks, and Racial Wealth Gap. All right, now we know the problems. This ain't nothing new. You're not telling somebody something that they don't already know about. We know about these problems inside and out. That's why the response here, I want y'all to see this. Some of us understand the issues at hand now. Are we going to use the resources at our disposal to empower ourselves, or what? No talking or excuses. Just do it. Brother said, what resources are those? Will you tell our poor communities to skip paying their rent so they can chip in for a credit union? He came with the extreme, showing that with the numbers, we don't even have to invest that much, $3 a piece. Or say there's 100,000 more instead of 200,000. So we got to up the change a little bit more to come up with that 600,000, right? We got to do $6 a piece. Oh man, there's over 100,000 more following Moorish in America platform. Man, you know what? Forget everybody else. If everybody else want to be weak, they want to be victims, Moorish in America, let's just do it. Okay? Let's just do it ourselves. Just the people that follow and subscribe to Moorish in America, we can do it alone. We can leave everybody else behind. If they want to be stagnant, if they want to be harping on the things that were done, even though they just see that when they do the things to you now, you still think there's a ceiling over your head, but it's gone. It's gone. There's no ceiling. We can get the message out there to 100,000 people just like that. Just like that. Or maybe spend a little money on an ad to promote it, to get it out there to that many people. Just like that. Hey, Moors, just like the prophet did with the Moorish guy. Hey, Moors, do you want your own town? You want your own policeman? You want your own mayor? You want your own this, and that? We can do all that easily, And if the temples aren't ready, they're going to have to get ready. They're going to have to get on board, or everybody's going to get left behind. Anyone with that stagnant mentality, right? Coming with excuses. excuses. Oh, but this, but that, but you ain't saying nothing. I already know all of this. It's not like this is some new knowledge. Oh, I didn't know they did this to us. Nah, we know it. We know it's even worse than what you saying. They was actually killing our people, right? They was actually lynching us. But guess what? It ain't over. We here. We here now. So coming back in here, no excuses. So the brother just went all over the little example up there of, hey, 200,000 Moors contribute $3 a piece, or 100,000 Moors contribute $6 a piece, just to raising the funds for the startup costs for our own bank, our own credit union, right? Let's get it going. Let's get it going, right? So the brother got the excuses. Hey, want them to skip paying their rent? Hell no. No, that's not the answer. But it wouldn't hurt most people, even those who are poor, to put a small percentage of their earnings aside. You can't put aside $6. You don't need to be watching this video right now. You need to be hustling, figuring out what you could do to get some more money, right? Right? Forget this video if you don't have $6, if you don't have $10, if you don't have $50. If you can't spare $50, right, to create something for yourself, for your own community, right, to have some ownership in something, you don't have $50, get out of here. Don't watch this. Get out there and hustle. Get that bread together, right? So if, even people who are poor, even most of us can put aside a small percentage of our earnings, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's only like $10, $20, even if it's only $10, $20 a month, most of us can afford to do that, right? So most people, even if they have to, they could even find something to cut back on that they don't need, if that's what you got to do. Some people don't have like the 20, 30 to spares. They using everything just on their basics to survive, but they still, even those people, there's something that they don't need that they've been buying, eating out, going to the movies, video games, subscriptions, all these subscription services, Netflix. Is always something that you don't need that you can cut back on. So a lot of people have disposable income, even the ones that are not making decent money, because they have money to spend on things that are not food, clothing, and shelter. Just keeping it real, man. Forget all of those weak excuses. And then more excuses. Do you know that the government funds he's like all over the place. He went from saying, that it costs $600,000 to get a credit union. Okay, we could do that, right? Showing how easy it is to actually do it, because we can get the word out there. We can do it. Then he's coming with all the stuff they did to us, economic exclusion, financial suppression. Yeah. We already know about that. We can still do it. Why are you even bringing that up? How does that stop us from doing this? Right then, will you tell the poor to stop paying their rent? No. Put $10 aside if you can, do what you can. No excuses. Now the excuse is, the government funds everything for immigrants to come here with nothing. My thing is, why are our people the only ones asking our people to fund initiatives out their own pockets? Are you familiar with CDFI? So the brother's talking about the funds and stuff. They're giving checks and stuff to the migrants that are coming over here. And that stuff's horrible. But guess what? What does that have to do with this? Just pulling excuses out of the air. Every excuse in the world to still be a victim. And I hope this brother sees this and understands it's not an attack on him. It wouldn't matter who was saying this stuff. Want to prove a point. Like, there's no excuse, right? So yeah, there's always an excuse for everything that is being presented because of a victim mentality, right? So there's a lot of corruption going on, even worse things than what he's speaking on with the immigrants, right? But there's no excuse. As was said here, people have to be educated to be proactive and work with what they got to empower themselves. They did so many things to our communities, right? To destroy us, to slow us down, right? Back in the 80s, when Reagan declared the war on drugs, they were putting crack in our neighborhoods. It was a covert war against us. They did so many terrible, heinous things. I'm not excusing any of that. but we still have to empower ourselves. And since we've been through so much, we have to now educate ourselves to be proactive, to use what we have to empower ourselves, right? Everything that we do has to be legit and transparent, so there's no room for people that are shiesty, simple, ignorant, petty-minded people to try to steal, take advantage of it. Also, we need it to be set so that anyone that we do have like real banking professionals working with us, they know that there will be legal ramifications, right? If they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And then that whole thing about the immigrants, they giving them money and stuff, right? Why should our people be the only ones asking our people to fund initiatives out there on pockets? That is not true. There are plenty of people here in this country that do for themselves. And I'm not just talking about people like the Amish and these other communities that do everything for themselves. No, I'm talking about there's people who come here, right? Even right now, there are people coming here from the Caribbean, people coming here from Mexico. They come here. They all live in the same house together or the same apartment together, okay? And they all work and they pool their money together. They put that money into a pot, like the Susu thing, but they're doing it for real. Like they save that money up, and when it's the next person's turn, they get the pot and they get to go open their business. And they keep doing it. And then eventually it's your turn. Everybody does that to empower themselves. And whether they do it to open a business or maybe they take it and they go buy a house, whatever they're doing it to come up, to come up financially. And so people are doing this and they're financing it out their own pockets. People like, you got plenty of so-called African Americans here that'll be clowning people like from Mexico and stuff. They're coming here, they're working, people coming here that maybe working lawn care and doing stuff like that, right? Doing the stuff you don't want to do. But they're coming here and they're learning trades, right? They might even be working in different restaurants. Those restaurants they working in, they're going to wind up taking that stuff over, right? You ever been to a Chinese restaurant? There's Mexicans there. They're going to wind up taking it over, okay? And having their own Mexican or Chinese Mexican fusion or whatever, right? Like for real, this is what's happening. And then, and moving out into other industries as well, right? So they're not all it's not all handouts. These are excuses, right? So, and I was responding to that. I know about the migrant situation. We have a whole video on here about that migrant situation where it's a terrible thing. They're actually bringing people in from all over the place. It's not just people from Venezuela coming up here, which is insane, right? They're coming through all these countries just to come to America. But no, they also bringing people in even from across the ocean, from other places. But for some reason, they're bringing them all in through Mexico, acting like it's just people from South and Central America, right? So they're bringing in all these people. And, it's a terrible thing. I'm not going to get too much into that. There's a video on this channel, though. If you want to know more about this, go to the Moors of America channel on YouTube or on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, you can just search on the channel, just type migrant, right? And it'll come up. Great video, very informative. But that situation is despicable. But there's nothing we can do about it if we're not empowered. Like, brother, bringing it up just to mention more problems. You can't do nothing about it. You can't affect legislation. You can't do anything to change the situation, right? Like Biden, they going to bring them in here. They will shut down a hotel and have the hotel putting these people up in there for free and giving them checks. They even are shutting down schools, right? to house these people. It's insane, right? But you are not in power to affect that. You can't. You can't get them to create laws and to stop doing it. So you're not in power. So we have to work with what we have. We can't even demand some type of restitution because we have zero leverage. We can't be out there, y'all better give us reparations. Yeah, right. We don't have any leverage. The majority of our people vote in one political party in exchange for nothing. When Joe Biden was running for president and he went on The Breakfast Club, the Negroes listen to The Breakfast Club. He went on there and told the Charlemagne, right, dude, who's not the God, because he let him get away with that crap. He went on there and told him, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And he did nothing. There was a little outrage about it. And they did nothing. They said nothing about it. They dropped it. Act like it didn't even happen. Meaning, even in this modern time, they can shame you into voting Democrat. It's ridiculous, right? So there's no leverage. You thinking you're going to get reparations, it can only happen if they just decide to give it to you. That's what was said here next. Anything the government hands out to us is going to come with conditions and is going to benefit other communities as well, right? So if y'all jumping on a reparations train, you're just hoping that they give it to you. You don't have the power to force their hand. You don't have the ability to make it happen. It is out of your hands. You need them to do it for you, to do you a favor, right? The brother was just coming with more excuses. Your thoughts are definitely wrong. You're saying people who come here with nothing and have no political power, can't even vote, are entitled to government assistance. I didn't say any of this stuff, right? He's just all over the place. I said, dude, you put words in my mouth. The only thing I said about that migrant situation is that it's despicable. And just keeping it real, our people have no political might. We spend all of the finances we generate, so we don't even have economic leverage. We don't even have like a, like for example, if you just look at the quote unquote black community as a whole, we make we generate over $1 trillion in revenue. Right? The money that we make, from working in our businesses and stuff that we have, but we spend the majority of it. Some of us invest, but the majority of us don't. So we don't even have our own savings and things like that going on where we, could put out a call and say, hey, this is what we want, or this is who we support because he's going to make the laws we want. He's going to give us reparations. We don't even have that. So there's no pressure on Washington to do anything for us. All right, so, I don't know how somebody could flip those words and try to act like I'm for the immigrants coming and getting paid and all this crazy stuff, right? Of course, we're due compound interest. We do everything, for what our people have suffered here, for the land and things that have been taken from us. So we do all that with compound interest, but they're not going to do it because they don't have to. And if they did, it's going to benefit them. So we don't have enough leverage to force their hands. So we have to work with what we have to empower ourselves instead of keep throwing out problems and reasons why it won't work. If they even threw reparations in our direction, like when you throw a dog a bone, in our present condition, it would only be because they have programs set up to take the funds right back up out our pockets. If you watch that new movie, the Martin Scorsese movie about the Osage Nation, I think it's called something Flower Moon or something. Movie was alright, man. People big up in that movie. It was alright, but it showed in there. Well, there's a lot of things they showed in there, but one of the things you just see, like, just at a basic level, the Osage, the quote unquote Native Americans, they were getting paid because oil was on their land, and so all these Europeans lined up around them, all with services, selling cars, shoe shine, anything and everything, and overcharging for that stuff to get money from them, right? Right, because they're getting the money, they're getting they're all getting these royalty checks from like Standard Oil and stuff like that. And so the Europeans were lined up to take that money. That's it, right? And like I said, man, this brother was all over the place saying every study done where a simple UBI, that's universal basic income of 500, showed vast improvements, not only in their ability to keep up with their bills, but also improve their mental health. And then saying you think too little of our people. And he's saying this stuff, even though the whole time he's painting the people as victims. And then why is he all over the place? This universal basic income, like that's our reparations? Like they're not doing that for us. The whole thing with that universal basic income is because of the automation of all of these different industries, right? The AI is starting to automate all of these jobs. And so eventually there's not going to be as many jobs for the people, and they're going to have that universal basic income. But that's not a good thing because once again, you're dependent on the government. What if in order to get your universal check, your basic income, you have to have the that jab for that thing or for whatever thing they come up with in the future? And you don't believe that you need that stuff. I ain't believe I needed that other thing. And I didn't need it. Right. So here's the thing. If you need that universal basic income, because, the jobs and stuff that you were working are gone now, they're AI, you're going to have to do what you got to do. So you don't want to be beholden to anyone, right? And, this guy, he just don't give the people that much credit, right? Sharing all these links and talking about all these stats, but, at the same time, every point he's making is trying to show how weak and poor our people are, how they're victims, right? And then even just all over the place, a universal basic income. What does that have to do with this, with starting our own bank? That's an excuse for why we can't do it, why we need this stuff. Come on, man. And then there's so much research. There's so many charts that show how our community spends more on food and entertainment than any other ethnic group. Even on high end like fashion and things of that nature, we spend more on stuff like that than any other ethnic group. Even though we in total make less money than so-called white people, we still spend more money on those things, especially entertainment, than them and anyone else. And in percentage wise, our people invest less of our earnings than anyone else. Okay? And nothing's changed. This research has been the same for decades. So there's no excuse. And then especially for Moorish Americans who are supposed to be upright, independent, and fearless, it sucks. It's like, it's detestable hearing this type of talk, because Moorish Americans are supposed to be upright, independent, and fearless. I'm not saying this brother's a Moorish American. I know he, used to be, took the L off and he's not messing with the temple, whatever. That's his business. It's not about him. But we as Moorish Americans have to think the opposite. We have to be upright, independent, and fearless. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali demonstrated how economically and politically we can empower ourselves. He did it, right? In addition to cleaning ourselves up spiritually. And the dude, he came, well, you are completely lost. If you think 2023 is anything like the 1920s, you're hopelessly lost. And going on about decreasing land ownership. We owned more land back then than we do now. And, our people were more willing to work and build their own back then than now, too, because he was all talking about getting the handouts. We shouldn't have to do nothing, right? That's how come they had something, because they were willing to build it themselves, right? So the excuses are terrible. There's no excuse for the Moors to not at least be a little further ahead than we are at this moment. Right? Black Muslims established Islamburg, New York, back in the 1980s. And they still exist. Their community is official. They have their own grocery store, schools, etc. Moors do not have one town. Moors can't say they are superior. Can't say that you God, you Allah, you God in the flesh. You can't say nothing. Moors don't even have one town. All right, so the brother had the victim mentality. I'm all the way on the other side of the spectrum. Upright, independent, and fearless. Brother sees us as victims. Thinks that people that talk and think like me, that act like me, are clueless. We lost. We on the opposite side, right? What I've experienced and seen, I think that we are overprivileged and entitled. Talking about so-called African Americans. I used to live overseas, lived in Brazil for 5 years. It is a third world country. There's no welfare. There's no government housing, no free projects for the people there that are of African descent. They live in poverty that is a extreme level. It is nothing like poverty here in America. Okay? You think the ghetto, you think the projects is hard and tough. They got murders and drugs there too. And the poverty is at an extreme level. It's undescribable. You would have to go there and see it for yourself. And if you go there, you're not going to the freaking favelas. Okay. It is messed up. And so, and they had to build their own communities. That's just one example, but it's like that all over the world. And if they didn't build their own communities, they would have nothing. There's no welfare. There's no government housing, right? They didn't have free housing. Okay. And even in 2024, they still don't have half of the resources we have here in America. We got it made. We are overprivileged and entitled. We do squander opportunities. We have everything that we need to empower ourselves. And so I absolutely detest hearing excuses why we gonna continue to suffer, why we can't do that, and especially just gotta keep pulling stuff out of freaking hell. Because it's like, what are you coming with? First, okay, the money is 600,000. Okay, well, we got the numbers. We can raise that easily where it's not even a burden for the people to participate and raise the funds. We need 600,000. We got the numbers. There's 100,000 of us. Let's all put in 600. I mean, not 600. Let's all put in $6 to create this. You know? And then, no, man, that's not realistic. Then just pulling out all the excuses in the book. The immigrants, they getting paid. Okay, well, guess what? They also are coming from other nations that have a government. They have something worked out where they can get that stuff done. We don't have the political might to affect that. So why even bringing up this stuff that has nothing to do with it? Islamberg, I mentioned Islamberg, started in the 1980s by mostly black Muslim families, right? Started out with about 40, 60 people, has a population of at least 200 now. They left New York City to live a peaceful and holy life. Its community serves as the headquarters of Muslims of America. All right. I want to show you some photos, right? Without being too intrusive to this community. I don't want to sound like it's disrespectful or anything to them. I do want to respect their privacy, but they are in the public. They were covered in the news because there was a attempted terrorist attack. Check this out. Some Europeans in Tennessee thought they were gonna bomb their mosque, right? And they're trying to get people all hyped up like they're over here. They're building, terrorist groups in here just because they're Muslims, right? And the police shut them down. They shut them fools down before they could do anything. And those fools are now in prison. Okay? You know why? I'm going to show you why. So these are some pictures from Islamberg. This is from 2019. It says Tahira Clark, an attorney for the Muslim enclave of Islamberg, praising the community's mosque. They are near the Catskill Mountains, right? And it's just showing the people. I mean, you see, a girl studies for school while a man chops wood in the Muslim enclave of Islamberg in Tompkins, New York. Okay? Started in the 80s. They're still going. Have their community. It says in this September 7th, 2017 photo, a pickup truck stops at a security post for the Muslim enclave of Islamberg, right? Just west of the Catskill Mountains. You see this? This is from Islamberg. A llama and a horse graze in the field. They have land. They have, they grow crops. They have livestock, right? I mean, this is another reason why Moors ain't trying to have horses and llamas. Well, I'm sure there's some who do want to farm, but a lot of folks don't want to farm. And if you look at the channel too, you can see other videos on here where I'm building with other brothers who are doing urban gardening, even a brother who has a farm, right? Because we have to think like this and we have to work and actually build it physically. We can't be like that brother that was just coming up with excuses and living in fantasy land. You want the universal basic income check. You want the reparations check. All right? We have to do for ourselves. Here's another photo just showing their attorney and Farouk Baki walk with the New York State Police captain in the Muslim enclave of Islamberg. And it says, with them are Major James Barnes, second from the right, and Muhammad Matthew Gardner, a spokesman for the Muslims of America. The troopers were making a goodwill visit to the village, right? And then this police officer said, these folks that live here are American citizens. They've lived here for over 30 years. They built this community. They have ties within and outside this community. And there's not a problem here, right? They're American citizens. They have their rights. They built their own community. And the police, everyone has to respect them. They ain't doing nothing wrong. says Muslim schoolboys stop to drink from a pipe carrying water. They have their own plumbing. They build their own buildings, right? Or they pay people, hire people to come and do things maybe that they can't. And then it says Hussein Adams, chief executive of Muslims of America, talks during an interview at Islamberg in Tompkins, New York. They're frustrated by repeated accusations that their community is a breeding ground for terror, right? They've been there for over 30 years, right? Then it's saying an inside photo of the mosque and men praying at the mosque. So I was just showing these photos so you know that it's real. These people don't consider themselves Moorish Americans as far as I know, but they're so-called black Muslims, right? This is a store that sells Muslim products. Here's the outside of the mosque. It says Rashid Clark discusses his Muslim community while standing outside of the Enclave's mosque. Okay, so just showing the pictures, the images, because, you know, pictures, images speak to us. But you understand what's going on. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for failure. There's no reason to continue going on about why we can't have what we need, why we can't accomplish our goals. You know, there's no excuse. And really, when people come with excuses, they're just letting you know that there's nothing you can do with them. We got to be willing to just leave some folks behind, because everybody's not trying to do this with us. That's how come nothing really has been done or accomplished in decades. That's why you have people who can pretend that they have a Moorish city or pretend that they have a Moorish government. They can pretend we're recognized by the UN. Like that's a good thing. Like the UN is really all of that wonderful, right? Right? You have UN soldiers in Haiti and all of these other places. Like that's a good thing, right? Like the UN don't have its own agendas. So you have people pretending, oh, we're recognized by them, and they're not accomplishing anything. And they're not trying to, because these people are entitled. They're spoiled. They don't want to build their own community. They definitely not trying to roll their sleeves up and build anything. They definitely not trying to be disciplined, save money, put finances up to build something that's real and that's legit. That's what we're dealing with, people. That's it. Moors, if you're seeing this and you're moved by this message, I want you to do 3 things. First off, I want you to share this, and especially with other like minds. Other people that are sensible, that are real, that are not just playing games out here. Share this with them. Share it publicly, but also send it to them in a message. Say, hey, you should really watch this, right? 2, if you actually want to build this thing for real, I say contact me. Go ahead and send a message. If you're on Facebook, just go on and send a message to the Moors in America page, or email me at bay@moorsinamerica.com. I'm not trying to make myself out to be some leader or something, but I'm saying let's do this for real. Let's build on the side. You want to come on and build this thing? So that's 2 things. I want you to do 3. Share this, share it publicly, share it with people, tell people, pull people to the side, are real, and say, hey, watch this. Okay? Let's get this going. Forget all of these lame, weak, pitiful excuses. Forget this victim mentality. Get away from anyone that is talking like a victim. Just keep it real. They are under a slave mentality and they don't even realize it. And then if the people that are saying stuff like this, are you successful? Are you? How many children do you have? Are you taking care of your children? Do they all live with you? Ask these questions, because these are things that actually really matter on a personal level. If you have children and you're not taking care of them, you can't tell me nothing. And I'm not talking to like the person on here. I'm just saying in life in general, because I take care of my children. I take care of my wife, my family. So if somebody ain't doing them basics, they can't tell me nothing, because that's part of the mentality that holds us back. People, men, not even standing up, taking care of their family, women, doing the same thing as well. So people like that are, that are stagnant, that aren't even doing their basic need, that they don't care about their own children, they don't care about you. Right? So that's the thing, Moors. You got to listen. You got to pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to who you're listening to. This stuff shouldn't be entertainment for you. If this is just entertainment for you, you're here for the wrong reasons. Like, this is for real, and some of these folks now with YouTube, It's people on YouTube that have like tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of followers, and they are literally homeless. They live on the park bench. They're in and out of shelters. They get like free Wi-Fi somewhere and they do their little videos. And y'all listening to them thinking this person know what they talking about. These people can't even like handle their basic business. Some of these people have children that's out there in the system and they not doing nothing about it. Okay, but they telling you about what's his name? Jeffrey Epstein and what they was doing to the children. This person got children that they not taking care of. They can't tell me nothing. They can't be serious. What about your child? Your child could be off anywhere you don't even know. So I'm saying, you got to cut the foolishness out. Just keeping it real. If this speaks to you, share it. And let's pull some people aside and say, hey, look, check this out, man. Let's get this going for real. Send me an email. Contact me either on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you see this, or email bay@mooresinamerica.com. And just put you serious in the topic. All right. We're going to move this forward with another discussion. And the third step will be make sure that you are in the next meeting, which will be more private. It won't be some YouTube video or whatever for everybody. It's only for the people who's serious. Let's see what we can do to take this stuff to the next level. Because we don't need to convince people who are victims. There's nothing you can do, especially somebody who's older than you. I'm talking to somebody who's older than me, who got a victim mentality. Ain't nothing I could tell them. They're already set in their ways. That's like you trying to get a mule to do something or a donkey. They're not going to do it. So that's what I wanted to say, Moors. We can't be victims. If you are a victim, you faking it. Stop calling yourself a Moor. You know, take the L of Bay off your name. Cease wearing your turban and fez and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. Because Moors are men and women, upright, independent, and fearless. We not victims, and we don't have a problem for every solution. Matter of fact, we come up with solutions for every problem. On that note, Moors, let's go on and get up out of here. I appreciate you all. Peace and love.